Okay guys, today I've got a couple things going. I'm making some pumpkin custard, but that's not what this video is about. This video is going to be about making fire starters with just some extra scrap stuff. We heat our house with wood, and to start a fire in the wood burning stove, it helps if you have some sort of fire starter. You can buy those, and we do that. But when I have this scrap stuff lying around, it's kind of nice to just make your own. I have sawdust from the planer from the shop. I have crayons, assorted pieces of wax from candles, and broken crayons, and crisp birthday candles. These are it's leftover wax after the scent has been burnt off them. So it's those little cube things, and then after the scent's kind of gone, just put this wax paper, I guess it's not actually wax paper, can't think of the name right now, but you put that down in the cup, put that on it, pull it out when it cools off, and you got this cube of wax ready to make fire starters. The only thing I guess I don't have out here are the egg cartons, cardboard egg cartons. So what we'll do is we'll melt wax in here, get it going on the stove, and that's just a teapot I picked up at one of the thrift stores, and we'll start putting some wax in there. And you can see there's paper on this. I'm not even going to worry about taking the paper off. It doesn't matter. Melt some of this down, and ultimately once it's melted down, we'll take some of the sawdust, put it in here, pour it on top, add to it, stir it up, put it in the molds, egg cartons, and let it harden. And they're ideal fire starters whether you're going camping, doing an outdoor fire, just sitting around a fire ring, or you're starting a fire in your fireplace. They work great. Once it starts to melt, we can turn it up just a little bit. I think the first time I ever did this, I added a little bit of water because I was afraid about burning and paper on the candles and starting a fire, and the water was just a hassle. You're better off just to slowly melt it. And once you get a base of liquid from the wax, you can turn the heat up slightly and it'll melt fairly fast. So while that's melting, I'm going to throw a layer of sawdust in there. And this technically isn't sawdust, it's from the planer, so it's shavings, but I've used sawdust. This is just what I had handy and easy, so I grabbed it out of the scraps from the planer bucket, which incidentally works great just to catch a spark and start a fire. Heat up a little bit. I'm going to get that melting down, and then I'll show it to you and see if we need to add more based on what we have here. I think we're probably just going to try and mix it all up. Alright. So you can see, can you see? It's all melted. So what I'm going to do is put this paper, it fires off, there is no fire anymore, I turned it off. I'm going to put the paper over that so I don't drip everywhere. And this is why this is easier. And I guess I could throw this stuff away too, but it isn't going to hurt it to be in the... Put those aside. I'm going to stir up the paper stuff that's in there. And another handful. I'm going to start. Well, maybe I should stir that one more time just to mix it up a little bit. I'll take this, start pouring it on. I hope you can see that. I just pour it in, then I'm going to stir that up. Bring you over here a little closer. All right. Put another handful in there, and we'll pour more on. Oops. I want to see what kind of mold that's going to make. Okay. Better add a little more. You want it to kind of be able to, like you're molding a ball of dough. I mean, it's not quite like a ball of dough, but you don't want it, I suppose that would probably work, but you want it to be able to compress. And that's hot. And it's still falling apart, but if you can get it to compress enough that you can get at least about that much in a egg carton, I think you're gonna probably be where you want to be. We're gonna put the rest of this on. Sawdust, true sawdust, as opposed to these shavings, would be much more dense than this. It would not be this fluffy yet. And it could have something to do with the kind of wood. This is aspen, as opposed to if it were oak or something a little heavier wood. So, even though I got the paper towels down, we're making a little bit of a mess, but as long as it cools and doesn't stick, we should be alright. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start taking it, and putting them in. I'm just going to push it down in. And I'll tell you, it's warm. And you have to do this while it's still warm enough that it hasn't set, otherwise it'll cool and you'll never compact it in there. I mean, I could probably wait and not do it when it's quite this hot, but we're going to try this. We'll put it on there. Push it down. And I'd say that one's good enough. Those are going to be, I'd say, full enough to set aside. We'll let that cool. When they harden, we'll cut them apart. Alright, so they're set. They're still slightly warm, but I'm going to try and cut them. Normally I would just let them sit and wait a little longer, but I'm just going to start by going down the center. And clearly you don't want to, I mean, you don't want to be aggressive with this, because you're trying to get it to stay in those holders, not fly out. And even after they're set, they will crumble if you get too rough with them. Let's try it from this end. So I got that, and we just go through and do this. And then I'll set them in a bucket and stack them in there. The more dense it is, the longer it's going to burn. Alright, so that's the finished product. I'll cut up ice cream bucket full of them. There's 48 there. That's 48 fires for stuff that would have just been thrown away or recycled. So, there you go. Thanks for watching.